Hey, it's Ken here again with you today talking about small church tech. And I want to talk to you today about how our church got started with this much technology. This is this is it. This is how we got started. A camcorder recording pastor start reciting his sermon. And we started doing that initially, then we started recording him in church, and then COVID hit and we ended up going back to this. This was Easter service in 2020. We went from this to this. We really wanted to make it simple so that the volunteers could figure out how to use this, and I didn't have to sit in the booth every single weekend myself, primarily because I worked every other weekend. So this had to be something that I could hand off when it got ready to go. So let's look at what we put together. Here it goes. Hey, how you doing again? This is Ken with you, and this time I'm just going to be showing you our current setup for live streaming and managing the audio and video within the church itself. If you notice, we don't have screens up front. That's something that we may be getting in the future. We'll just need to take some time to get that. We do live stream every service. And that starts, one of the things it starts with is the PTZ camera controller. Right now we're controlling 2 cameras, and I'm working on a third one here. I'll show you in a moment. This is one of the new Fomaco KC606Ns. It does have NDI capability, but I don't really use it. We use Visca over IP, or another word for that is Sony Visca, and that seems to work better for it. We have the Dell computer here that's got our PowerPoint slides that we use within our live stream. We have an MSI computer here that we initially were trying to use with vMix. It was easier to teach people how to use the ATEM Mini than it was to use vMix. So because I had volunteers and I wasn't here all the time, I needed to do that. So this right now operates our audio panel and the ATEM software so that we can switch and put in the key for our YouTube channel. So here we have in the manage area of the YouTube studio, we have already set up our 3 services for Easter week, which is coming up. And then we have the multi-view, and that's coming from the ATEM Mini Extreme. This does do our recording, so we record to a Samsung. This also does our live streaming, and so we have to put the YouTube stream key in every Sunday morning. So that's something that they do, and so that our volunteers know what's going on and how to make sure they're doing everything correctly. I have a really good volunteer who took all my directions and turned them into a nice booklet here, step by step with pictures on what to do at each step. So that's been really nice. So that's set up here. We do the text overlaid with a picture-in-picture of pastor when we can. If there's too much text, that disappears. So for our hymns, it'll be a full screen, and then we just get rid of like this here, and we just turn off the picture-in-picture for that particular slide. When she does this and sets this up, she puts little notes in here. This is using picture-in-picture 3, and then there's next slide, no picture-in-picture, so we know to turn it off on the next slide. So she's got notes in here, so it allows us to know what's coming up. As we come over here, we got a Mackie FX12. I upgraded from a V122 FX22, which was way too big, and that's why I got the little extra space here, but now that controls some of the other things that we need. Shure mics, both handheld and headsets. The Zowie box brings our NDI in coming from this particular camera right here. That'll eventually go to the back of the church. I've just been up here so I can test it and make sure it's running right now, and this is why I'm getting NDI. Just a single cable to do video controlling with the controller there, and also power. So that'll be really nice because I don't have any way to put it in the back of the church without it being very obvious. So a single cable is really nice. We have another, one of our two original PTZ cameras, which is an AV-Pos camera. Number 2 here, and you can see number 1 way on the other side over there, about the same place in the church. And then we have an amplifier here that brings the audio out of the system and puts it into the back. I'll show you that in a moment. Now the way I do that audio, it comes out here HDMI to our multi-view. This particular monitor has an audio out, and that's where I get my audio, then goes out to that amplifier. So if I come around here, what we do is we take, besides live streaming, we take and we split that second HDMI out on the ATEM Mini Extreme. So we run it through a splitter. One of those splits goes over here to the corner and goes into a HDMI extender, goes up the wall there, and right behind this PTZ camera, I have some Ethernet outlets. Those go down to both a network switch, and it also goes to a patch panel. I'm going to show you what I do from there. But that's how I get video and audio down to a TV downstairs with almost no lag whatsoever. And I'll show you where that goes. This also splits so that we can have a TV up in front here to show videos from the computer. And also when we do our voters meeting in here, that TV then acts as our screen for using Google Meet so that we can bring people in remotely if they can't make it here. So what we did was we took, when we added on to our church, so our church was for a long time right to this line here. We added everything to the front here, moved the sanctuary forward, and when we did that, we ran network cables through the walls and through the floor in the basement and connected a lot of areas here through network cables, thinking we're going to be having computers for some reason all over the place. Well, Wi-Fi has kind of taken that out, and so that first audio that I was talking about comes to a speaker right here, so that here in the entryway with these big windows is our first place that people can go if they need to take a child out because they're getting too wild inside the church. As much as we like them in there, we bring them back here. They can sit here and they can watch and they can hear what's going on. But we also have a live TV downstairs. So this is our fellowship hall down here in the basement. So that live stream that I have coming out through the HDMI to a network extender is actually coming down here. And right up here, we have our network switch, which you can't send them through the switch, but up above those is big patch panel. And all I've done is gone from one cable inbound, so here's the whole bundle of cables all through the building. I got one to another just with a patch cable, and it just simply goes through here and then comes out on the wall here. There's two network cables there. One is coming from the switch, so it's got internet. The other one is coming directly from the patch panel, and so that's actually coming, it was patched over from where it went into the wall upstairs. And I'm continuing to build here, and I build my AV cart. That's something else I might show at some point in the future. And let's bring up the TV here. There it is from upstairs. So you saw that upstairs on the program out. It comes down here. We play the audio directly through the TV, which gives us plenty of audio for down here in the basement. And this is an area that could be used for a karate room. It could be used for just people that are overflow. It could be used by those that are putting together. This is our fellowship hall. So if they're putting together a meal, they might come down a little bit early and they can still listen in or still follow along here. that same stream. This is exactly what comes out on the live stream, but because it comes directly from the ATEM Mini, there's very little lag at all from upstairs to downstairs. And that's how I make it work. So here's the other end of that. Here's the other end of that extender. And again, that's extending straight through the patch panel, straight in one wall, out another wall, and it comes to here, and there it is. It's been doing that. We've had this here on a cart for a while, but now on the wall for probably 3 or 4 years now. Well, I think 3 years that we've been doing this. So haven't had much problem at all. So that's how our setup is. So there it was. I hope you liked it. If you did, please subscribe, leave a like, leave some comments. I would love your feedback, both pros and cons. It's how I'm going to learn. I'm going to continue to put more videos out there. So until next time, God bless.